Okay, so Trellicore, I just saw your tweet here. KreekCraft's latest video covers a load of misleading claims about COPPA 2.0. This is fear-mongering, and you wrote an entire Google document about my inaccuracies and misinterpretations. First off, why don't you just DM me? Like, we follow each other. I'm pretty sure I have you on Discord. You could have just DM'd me. We could have hopped in a call. We could have sorted this out. If I'm wrong about something, I'll fix it in a video. Um, you could have just DM'd me. You didn't have to write an entire Google document. But anyway, I guess this is how we're doing things now. So let's do it. I'm going to start at the bottom and go up, right? I say in my video, the videos you watch, the creators you watch, they're no longer making money. All of your favorite creators, whether they're Roblox, Minecraft, or Fortnite, won't be able to earn anymore. You say that that is inaccurate. While COPPA 2.0 bans targeted ads to minors under 17 without consent, creators can still earn from contextual ads, sponsorships, or other revenue streams. Now, you're actually correct on this. If you go to a video that is made for kids, or if you go to YouTube Kids, you'll still see ads. Those ads are contextual ads. They're not targeted ads. The reason why I don't mention this in the video, and I don't blame you for not knowing this, you're not a YouTuber. Unless you're a YouTuber, you won't know this, but contextual ads don't make any money. We're talking pennies. I know a bunch of creators that were hit from YouTube's, made for kids thing back in like 2019, 2020. When the original COPPA ruling thing happened, right? The lawsuit, like 5-6 years ago. They went from earning a livable wage with employees, script writers, editors, thumbnail artists, etc., to contextual ads giving them pennies, right? So they went from earning lots of money, livable wage, to basically nothing. It's like shorts revenue. I make like $3 every short. Like, yeah, technically I'm making money, but ain't nobody living off $3 a video. You know what I mean? So you're correct on this, but I didn't mention it in the video because, explaining the difference between targeted ads and contextual ads to the Roblox audience in the TikTok era in a 10-minute video is too much of a deviation. At the end of the day, it's neither here nor there. Same thing applies. We're not going to be earning money either way, right? We'll be earning pennies. And for anyone that doesn't know, and it may be different for other YouTubers, but for most YouTubers, targeted ads are the majority of our income. Like, if you took away targeted ads from me right now, I'd probably lose 85% of my income, right? Like, that's a lot of money, right? So you're technically correct, but contextual ads don't make money. I like that you say Kreek overstates the impact as a total loss of income. I would say 80 to 90% of my income is a total loss of income. I don't think that's overstating anything. Again, I don't really blame you. You're not a YouTuber, so unless you're a YouTuber, you're not going to know this. But, like, trust me, I'm not overstating anything. I can show you what a made-for-kids video makes. It don't make nothing. Anyway, let's move on to point number 4. I say in my video, YouTube Kids will no longer be for kids under 13. It will now be for everyone under 17. If you are under 17, this is what your YouTube will look like. You say this is inaccurate. COPPA 2.0 doesn't mandate that YouTube Kids, a separate app for under 13s, expand to all under 17s, or that all YouTube experiences for teens mimic YouTube Kids. Now, I should point out that this was a generalization. It was a visual generalization that I was making in the video, again, for the Roblox audience to better understand, because this is a topic that probably the TikTok era of viewers isn't, used to hearing about or talking about, right? So I was making a visual generalization for them to better understand what's at stake here. I didn't literally mean that YouTube Kids was going to change the number from 13 to 17, but I should have made the generalization. That's fair, sure. Now, with that being said, and I'm glad you bring this up in the document. You bring this up numerous times in the document here. YouTube, it's up to, here it is right here. It's up to platforms to decide how to comply, right? This might not be what YouTube does. The bill doesn't say that YouTube has to do this, but this is what YouTube did 5-6 years ago. And ultimately, this is what, like, a lot of this comes down to. A lot of what happened to these platforms back in 2020, 2019 with, like, YouTube and the COPPA stuff and all these websites back whenever COPPA was originally introduced, they don't necessarily do what the bill states specifically. They tend to go a little bit beyond the bill, right? They tend to overstep it a little bit to ensure that they are 100% in compliance, because if you are in any violation of this law, then you get fined a hefty amount. I think YouTube got fined. It was like, what, 150 million, almost 200 million, something like that, back in like 2019, 2020. And even us creators, specifically ourselves, I don't know if people know this, but us creators ourselves are also liable for this. So whenever I went to the FTC, whenever I went to Congress to talk about this back in 2019, I think it was like $40,000 that we would get fined ourselves for every violation. Meaning that if I have a video that the US government deems as made for kids, and I don't mark it as made for kids, I think it was like $40,000 for each violation. Now, let's say that they decide my whole channel is made for kids. I have like, what, 5,000, 6,000 videos? Multiply that by 40,000. There goes all my money, right? So, yes, maybe I should have made this point in the video to make it more clear. I can bring this up in a future one. But yes, you're correct. The bill doesn't specifically state this, but this is what happened last time. This is what has happened in the past. This is what these websites and companies and corporations tend to do. What would make this time any different? I think you mentioned in one of your tweets that they're probably not going to do this because they have the creator's best interests in mind or something like that. I think you mentioned it. Let's see, where is it? I think you mentioned it in one of these here. Let's see here. I'm sure they'll play it right. They have never played it right. Not a single time. I'll tell you right now. These corporations, whether it's Roblox, whether it's Google, whether it's TikTok, whatever it is, the corporations do not care about you. They don't care about me. They care about making money at the end of the day. The employees there might care about me, right? They might care about you, but the corporations themselves, the companies themselves, they do not care about you. They care about making money. If they got to sacrifice some creators, if they got to turn some revenue streams off for some creators in order to keep doing that, then that is what they're going to do, right? So a lot of your argument here is basically assuming that the government and that these corporations, these companies have the best interests in mind for creators. I would love that to be the case, but that's not what happened last time, right? So you're correct in pointing out the inaccuracy here, but this is what happened last time. Why would they not do this again this time, right? Maybe a lawyer can step in and like further explain this. I'd love to hear like a lawyer's opinion on this, on what they think might or might not happen, right? Anyway, let's go to point number 3. If you are under the age of 17, you will not be able to type in comment sections online. TikTok comments are gone. Twitter, actually, you won't be able to tweet at all, probably. That's what I say in my video. You say that this is inaccurate. You say COPPA 2.0 doesn't explicitly ban comments or posting for users under 17. It requires operators to obtain consent before collecting or disclosing personal data. Now, there's some layers to this here. The reason why I didn't mention this is a lot of the conversations around this bill are also in conjunction with another bill, KOSA. And what that bill does is, actually, I'm not going to get into what that bill does because that's neither here nor there, entirely separate topic. But part of that is verifying the age of users online, whether that is through ID verification, whether that is through uploading a photo and, like an AI determining how old you are based on that. I'm not joking. That's what these senators have said. You can look that up. Those conversations are publicly out there, right? So what does obtaining consent mean? Is that filling out a form? Is that uploading a photo of yourself proving that you're a certain age? What does that look like? The bill's not specific in that. That's an entire gray area. I don't like that. I don't think that's good, right? Having to prove or consent to being able to write in a YouTube comment section or posting or whatever it may be, that might be something as simple as clicking a button. But, and like you mentioned here, it might mean having to upload your ID, right? That's bad. Having to upload your ID to do this stuff is bad, right? You mentioned it right here. Platforms like YouTube disabled comments on made for kids content under the original COPPA to avoid liability, but this was their compliance strategy, not a legal mandate. And again, I'm not going to repeat myself, but again, these websites, they go beyond the scope of the bill to ensure that they are within compliance. Why would they not do the same here, right? Why would they not do the same here? That's what they've always done. So is giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to give these platforms the benefit of the doubt when the people running these platforms, the congressmen, the congresswomen, they don't care about me. And ultimately, the people in charge in the U.S. government, they're a bunch of really old dudes and old women that don't even know how to log into their computer, probably, right? So giving them the benefit of the doubt is a huge stretch, in my opinion. I'd love to be proven wrong on that, though. But, yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about point 3. Point 2, I say in my video, if you are under 17, you will no longer have videos recommended to you. The recommendation algorithm will be gone. You will just be getting random content. You say that this is inaccurate. COPPA 2.0 doesn't mandate disabling recommendation algorithms for users under 17. It prohibits collecting personal data for targeted advertising without consent. This is actually true. I was actually wrong on this. It doesn't ban contextual recommendations. I actually got this wrong. That was wrong. I'll fix that in an upcoming video. You're actually 100% correct on that. You're 100% correct on that. I was wrong. And then point 3, this is basically just summarizing everything I've already talked about. So there's really nothing to really talk about here. Either way, something I do want to mention here is, and I forget the websites. I'll pull them. If you really want to know, I'll pull them up and send them over in the morning if you're curious. But a lot of, or a few organizations that kind of like deal in this sector of online rights, online security, kid safety, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the reasons why these bills have been so contentious in Congress is because lawmakers haven't been able to give straight answers as to like whether or not this would require you to be 16 to make a YouTube account. They can't give you a straight answer. They have not given a straight answer on that, right? And so that's why these bills are so divisive. And these, again, this is out there. These conversations are out there. More than happy to send this over in the morning or something. I can grab those and send them over. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. I'd love to have a lawyer, like an actual policy lawyer, like actually go through this and like hit down all the marks of like what could happen and what could not happen based on this. I think it'd be great. I think it's something that needs to happen. But yeah, I mean, I know I've never had a Google Doc made on me. This is a first, so I appreciate it. I'm gonna go to bed now though.